everyone. We're on page 10. We're starting on page 10 with Hine Matov.
again. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shalom aleichem. Salam aleikum. It's welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you're all here. We're glad that you're here with us in person. We can also, we'll turn around and we can wave to over there. There's a little red dot on the camera because you're all with us via live stream as well. So we're welcoming everyone, whether you're here on the internet or in the non-internet space, which is great.
Is there a non-internet space?
I think we're in the non-internet space right now. That's right. That's right.
It's everywhere.
Today is a special Shabbat because tomorrow is a special day. Tomorrow is Earth Day. Not only am I excited for Earth Day because Los Angeles has this incredible metro bike system, and during Earth Day, the metro bikes are free to rent. So if you're around the holy city of Los Angeles, I'll invite you to rent a metro bike and wear a helmet and go for a ride. And Earth Day is also special because it's our gratitude practice for our land, the land upon which we live. And it's a day to spend time in nature. It's a day to go for a hike. It's a day to just do however you do in connection with Earth. And something that I find particularly interesting about Earth Day is that I think it's actually resonant with the themes of Shabbat, which in Shabbat, we're commanded to rest, and we're commanded to totally disconnect from technology. And so we're commanded not to be on our phones, or we're commanded not to be on our computers. And so how relevant it is that tomorrow is Earth Day, a day where we're actually supposed to, in our culture today, we're supposed to be connected with the Earth. And so it's really wonderful when these two days collide. In which we can rest, we can conserve, we can mirror the conversations of our sacred traditions and bring them into our lives today. And so on this Earth Day Shabbat, I just want to welcome and invite everyone to spend a little bit more time outside than you normally would, to reflect, to maybe conserve in a way that you don't normally conserve, and just appreciate your connection to this land. We'll begin our service with Shir Chadash. It can be found on page 344, and we'll join in song together.
חדש. שירו לאדוני כל הארץ. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We'll continue on page 20 with Lecha Dodi, our welcoming of the Shabbat bride, our welcoming of this metaphor in which Shabbat comes to us.
And
We
we'll-
will
Sorry.
go ahead.
We'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Is that what you were going to say?
That's exactly what I was
Yeah,
going
I
to say.
knew it. Okay.
We're so aligned.
We are. Ya la 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 elecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabel. La 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet ve'litchila. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Ki mikol haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha. So לקראת כלה, יאללה לה לה לה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
Verse 5. Verse 5.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. יאללה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, לך תודי, יאללה לה לה לה, לקראת כלה, יאללה לה לה לה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עצרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יאללה אליי, יאללה לה לה, לך תודי, יאללה לה לה לה, לקראת כלה, יאללה לה לה לה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לה לה לה, לך תודי, יאללה לה לה לה, לקראת כלה, יאללה לה לה לה, פני שבת, פני שבת
Are we good? We're not. We are, okay.
Page 28. Page 28.
la
On page 31 at the bottom, we will read together. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, ha-ma'ariv aravim. Our Shema can be found on page 34, and I'll invite you to get settled, maybe even take a deep breath, and maybe even close your eyes or lower your gaze before we recite the Shema together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vahed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vahed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Words to prepare us for Michamocha, which is on page 40. It's our prayer for redemption, and it's our prayer for our people Israel. These words come from Rabbi Ayelet Cohn, who is a member of Truah, the rabbinic call for human rights, And she writes an incredible prayer, really it's a blessing, in honor of Yom HaAtzmaut, which is coming up on Tuesday. And it is Israel's 75th anniversary. And it's a prayer, it's a blessing for a democratic state, for a Jewish state, and for a state that is one full of peace. And I want to share it with you. Source of life, maker of wonders, bless the state of Israel and all the inhabitants of the land. Protect her with infinite compassion. Spread over her your shelter of peace. Strengthen the hearts and the will of its citizens. Calling out for justice and democracy, may their voices ring out like a shofar throughout the land. A budding redemption, help them replant what has been uprooted and tend what has been neglected. So the seedling promises of refuge and equality blossom and thrive. May their feet not give way. Let them not tire, nor slumber, nor succumb to fear. Grant strength and courage. Nurture a shared future for all who call the land home. Healer of the brokenhearted, sustain our hope and help us celebrate what was and is miraculous in Israel's founding. Help us grieve all that has been lost in the realization of that dream, and may we be strong enough and honest enough to carry the shattered along with the whole. May we be partners with the divine and with all the inhabitants of the land of Israel in establishing and protecting justice and peace and joy. And let's all say together, Amen. Micha Mocha can be found on page 40.
Ya Elai, Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha Nedar b'kodesh Nora Tehilo Oseh Feleh Nora Tehilo Oseh Feleh Malchutecha Rauvanecha Bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam Zeli Anu ve'ameru Adonai Yimlo Leolam va'ed Adonai Yimlo Leolam va'ed Ya Elai, Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. Hashkivenu, our prayer for shelter, can be found on our supplements.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu malkeinu לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Our Amidah, our tefillah, which is our prayer of being closest with the divine, can be found beginning on page 46. And our Amidah will do the first few prayers together. We'll do Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, and then the following three prayers together out loud. And then the remaining prayers will be an opportunity for silent reflection or silent meditation. It can either be the prayers in the prayer book, either the translations or the interpretations, or it could just be the meditations or musings of your heart or deep within inside of you. We'll rise as we are able on page 46 for the Amidah, and we'll join together.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, V'chayei HaKol atah Rav leHoshia. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. In God's garden we go each day, planting seeds along our way, careful as we work and play to help our garden grow. In God's garden we take some time, who knows what we might find, pretty colors, yours and mine, just like a rainbow. You can read the book of you. What chapter are you coming to? Just take a moment or a few to understand all that you can do. For in God's garden you can be everything your soul can see. Every possibility is waiting just for you. In God's garden you are home, feeling calm you've never known, and knowing you are not alone is is all you have to do.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Springtime is a wild time to be a clergy person. Would you agree with that?
I would.
It's pretty wild. It's jam-packed with holidays. We go straight from Tu B'Shvat to Purim to Passover, and they're so close together. And so it takes a lot of time and keen planning in order to pull them off. And springtime's also the middle of the school year, which can be exhausting for parents. And it may go without saying, but if you have springtime allergies, then that can put a real damper.
Don't start.
Sometimes it may feel like counting down the days may be an appropriate solution for grounding oneself during a busy time or a challenging time. So when Passover came and went, I stopped eating my matzah and my matzo ball soup and my matzah pizza, and I felt as though I was able to return to normalcy again because all those spring holidays were done. But then I looked at the Jewish calendar and I realized that our calendar doesn't sleep, and we're actually always in a period of there's always a new holiday that's up and coming. And we're quickly approaching a holiday entitled Shavuot, which is the third of 3 pilgrimage holidays for ancient Israel, following Sukkot and Passover. Shavuot is the holiday in which biblical Israelites would celebrate their harvest festival. It was a harvest festival specifically for wheat, and they did this in the springtime. Thousands of years later, the rabbis at the turn of the millennium ascribed new significance to Shavuot, as they do, of course, relating to the receiving of the Torah. They related the holiday to the receiving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. So for the rabbis, it was no longer a harvest festival, and it was more so this idea of receiving Torah. And what's especially peculiar are the intermediary days between Passover and Shavuot, because there's this special tradition that we are commanded to count one by one each day in between those 2 holidays for 49 days. This extended Jewish period of observance, it's a period in which we currently find ourselves. It's entitled the Omer. Now, what's so important about the time in between 2 holidays? Can't we just take a break? Like, why do we have to count the days? The Omer in Hebrew means a sheaf, like a bundle of wheat. That's what one calls like a bundle of wheat, is a sheaf. And the Omer, it refers to the crop that the ancient Israelite priests would bring to the altar in Jerusalem, and they would offer that sheaf to God, and they would do that every single day for 49 days in between Passover and Shavuot, and they would count each day that they offered that sheaf upon the altar. Now today, Judaism neither has priests, nor altars of sacrifice, nor sheaves, but the rabbis still tell us that we are commanded to count off these days, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 49. The traditional meaning of counting the 49 days of the Omer is a bit muddled. It's a bit unclear. No one exactly knows like what the hidden meaning or the secret is behind it. And sources have many different opinions as to why we even still do it today. The Torah states, this is our oldest source about the Omer, it says, Usfartem lechol mimochorot ha-Shabbat miyom haviechem et Omer hatnufa. Sheva Shabbatot tamimot tiyena. And from the day on which you bring the sheaf of elevation offering the day after the Shabbat, and that Shabbat, it actually refers to Passover. So the day after Passover, you should count off 7 complete weeks. That gets to 49 days. And so we count the Omer so that we ensure God receives each offering. The Talmud, which came 1,000 years after the Torah was redacted, at least, it notes something different. It notes a different reason for why we count the Omer. It says that during one Omer, nearly 2,000 years ago, there was a plague. And this plague occurred, and it killed 24,000 students of the prolific Rabbi Akiba. And so some historians believe that Rabbi Akiba held a really important role in the rebellion against Rome during the destruction of the Second Temple. And as such, it would only make sense, like historically, social historically speaking, that these students may have died in the war, or we're not sure. The Talmud probably ascribed some story to it. There's probably a lot more digging to do there. But regardless of which source is accurate, or neither, many Jews henceforth began observing the period of the Omer, and it's actually a period of semi-mourning, during which we are actually we're obligated to refrain from listening from live music. We're not supposed to receive haircuts. We're not supposed to celebrate weddings. These are uber traditional, I would say, and which is why it's a period of semi-mourning. It's not mourning. And even more so, medieval mystical traditions understand that one can garner this deeper sense of spirituality or ethereality when counting the Omer. Every single week is sort of like a different understanding of how we can get to know ourselves. And so it appears that counting the Omer has just an incredible multiplicity of meanings. Counting, in general, appears in other parts of Jewish tradition too, especially in our Torah. We read this week from a double parsha, Tazria Metzora, which chronicles the diagnosis and treatment of this strange, rare skin condition. And it's called tzara'at, and it's this rash, it's this sort of skin affliction, but it can also affect your clothes, and it can also affect your home. So it's this strange condition, it's rare, and the priests are able to treat it. And if Moses or Aaron or any of the other priests, if they're unsure as to whether the ailment is indeed this affliction called tzara'at, then they need to isolate the sick person for 7 days. And then on that 7th day, the priest needs to knock on their door and examine them. And if the affliction hasn't healed, they need to remain in quarantine for an additional 7 days. Medieval commentary suggests that the counting starts over once the tzara'at stops spreading. Which is interesting because if so much of our tradition, not just the Omer, but also this Parsha, so much of our tradition focuses on counting, then what's the deeper meaning of counting? What's the meaning of counting for us today? Why would we count our days? I want to invite 3 ideas as to why counting can make our lives meaningful. Number 1 is counting the Omer is paired with a mandatory blessing each day, which we'll recite soon. This pairing of counting with blessing reminds us that we have what in our lives to be grateful for. The beautiful Southern California April sun that's sometimes a little too hot, we can be grateful for that. That our bodies work in the ways that they do, we can be grateful for that. That we're here, that we're able to be present, that we're able to take a moment just to rest. We can be grateful for that. Even if it's a tough day, we can still be grateful. Just as author Leah Dietrich teaches in one of her Thank You Note a Day blog posts. Dear bee that stung my face while I was riding my bike. Thanks for choosing the side of my face where I already had a swollen lip from something else. It makes icing both things at once totally possible. Regards, Leah. So counting can help us be grateful even when it's not our day. 2, counting can be a mindfulness exercise. I remember when I meditated for the first time, it was 7 or 8 years ago, and it was super difficult. It felt totally inauthentic, and I felt like I was just sitting waiting for the timer to go off. And it didn't work for me. And so as I sort of further deepened my understanding of what mindfulness can be, and I realized that there are actually many activities in our world that can help me live a more mindful life, even if I don't have to sit in silence waiting for a timer to go off. So long as the activity helps me feel grounded in my body and in my mind, it helps me to realize that I can become a more conscious and more aware human being. And that can be a perfect mindfulness activity too. Counting is a perfect example of a great mindfulness activity that's modern and contemporary, and it's one that anyone can do. Number 3, when we count the Omer, we count up. We start at day 1, and we count day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on, instead of counting down, day 3, day 2, day 1. And I wonder if this method of counting teaches us that there are innumerable elements in our lives to which we can look forward. Yes, we have very important simchas, or joyous occasions, or performances, or gatherings, or TV shows for which we're excited, and we count down for those. Like we know that movie's coming out, or we have a certain date that we're really excited for, or maybe we're heading off to school. But perhaps because we are counting up, maybe it's a reminder that there are always more simchas, or joyous occasions, or performances, or just moments where we can spend time together. And we can hope and we can pray that those will come our way. We never know when they will end, and so just as we may want to relish the present opportunities, it's also healthy and normative to look forward to those opportunities that come next. I'll now invite us to turn in our Sidurim to page 278. The blessing for the Omer begins in this really beautiful way. It begins with the Hebrew words, Hineni muchan umezuman, which mean, on page 278. The blessing begins, Hineni muchan umezuman, which means, here I am, I'm ready, and I'm prepared. Here I am, I'm ready, and I'm prepared. And we are invited to complete this ritual of counting the Omer. So on this Shabbat and beyond, during this season of the counting of the Omer, may we too be ready and prepared and invited to make our days count by taking stock of moments of blessing and gratitude, by taking time for mindfulness when we think we need it, and by holding that we have so much to look forward to in our lives. On page 278, we'll conclude with the blessing for the Omer. Hineni muchan umezuman l'kayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat ha'omer. Together in Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Hayom Shisha Asar, Shehem Shnei Shavuot, Ushnei Yamim LaOmer. Today is the 16th day of the Omer, which is 2 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This day would bring me. I have been wondering what more I can do. Now here I am facing the Torah, my people, with family and friends, facing myself too. Beside many others, we started this journey a long time ago. A lifetime of living and learning together. With each new beginning, each of us will grow.
On page 253, we'll turn in our Sidurim for Misha Berach. This is an opportunity in our service where we can bring to mind those in our lives who need a little bit of strength, who need some healing, who need some healing from some unknown source, or maybe some healing from us. If you are thinking about someone today who's in need of a little bit more strength of the body or of the mind or of the spirit, I'll invite you to share their names with us. Share their names with us either out loud or in your hearts as our eyes meet. Misha Berach can be found on page 253.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
A refuah shlema, a complete and speedy recovery to all who are in need of healing. And we'll all say together, Amen. Our Aleinu, our concluding service, can begin on page 282, and we'll rise in all the ways that we're able.
Shalom,
Words to prepare us for Mourner's Kaddish. Marvin Bell once wrote, "You are not beautiful exactly. You are beautiful inexactly. You let a weed grow by the mulberry and a mulberry grow by the house. So close, in the personal quiet of a windy day, it brushes the wall and sweeps away the day till we sleep. A child said it, and it seemed true. Things that are lost are all equal. But it isn't true. If I lost you, the air wouldn't move, nor the tree grow. Someone would pull the weed, my flower. The quiet wouldn't be yours. If I lost you, I'd have to ask the grass to let me sleep." As we recite Kaddish Yatom this evening, we especially remember Carl Baruch, Helen Brucker, Norman Burnham, Les Davis, David Eskenazi, Peter Martin Echedo, Marcus Fetsheimer, Bessie Flom, Dennis John Friedman, Gail Friedman, Nathan Greenberg, David S. Harrison, Manya Hockman, Sadie Kalsman, Henry Lauterbach, Laura Lewis, David I. Lippert, Helene Chase Miller, Abbott Lowe Moffett, Rael Mazur, Ruth Ortner, Ben Pleasance, Pauline Price, Barbara Rubin, Sam Sekoff, Martin Schickman, Yetta Schrag, Roy Smith, Bernard Stein, Sheila Stockel, Myron Summerfield. If you are thinking of someone, if you are holding someone on this Shabbat, or if I've mispronounced your loved one's name, I'll invite you to share their names and share themselves with us as our eyes meet. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 294. We'll rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divra chiruteh, b'amlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yeh shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbahata v'nehemata. Da'amiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yeh shlama rabba min shmaya, v'hayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. May the memory of all those whom we've loved and all those in our lives be for a blessing. And together we'll all say, amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav. Oseh shalom shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh
shalom.
Aleinu. Let's do it again. Come on. Oseh shalom. Bimrama. Oseh shalom. Bimrama. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. 1, 2, 3, and may the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
You got it.
May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Bimrama. Oh, say shalom, shalom, shalom. Bimrama. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
So glad you're here.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my God.